Do mosquitoes bite dogs? Most certainly they do. Mosquitoes will feed on just about anything they can get their proboscis in, but particularly if it's warm-blooded. And because a lot of the mosquitoes we worry about live right around our houses, and so do our dogs, dogs are a common source of blood for mosquitoes. In fact, one of the major pathogens transmitted in the United States is not a human one, but dog heartworm, which has to be transmitted by a mosquito from one dog to another. How high do mosquitoes fly? For the most part, mosquitoes actually don't fly that high. Most of them probably stay about 6 feet or below. However, there are mosquitoes that specialize in living up in the tree canopy, and we assume that they fly high. There are also mosquitoes that specialize on feeding on birds and seem to even prefer nestlings. So they got to go find nestling birds, and in some cases that's probably high up in a tree. So mosquitoes are affected by elevation, but mostly in terms of what species do you find. So there are lowland mosquitoes and there are upland mosquitoes, mountain mosquitoes. And maybe not surprisingly, in North America, the mosquitoes that we find high in the mountains are similar to the ones we find in Alaska or in North Dakota, because that climate is going to be kind of similar in the mountains or in the Arctic or the subarctic or where it's quite cold. We know, like in the tropics, we generally don't find malaria above certain altitudes, probably around 1,700 meters above sea level. And we think that's in large part because even when you find mosquitoes that can transmit malaria up that high, it's just cool enough where the malaria parasite can't develop in the mosquito fast enough to be a major problem. Are mosquitoes attracted to light? Mosquitoes are attracted to some wavelengths of light. We have found that UV light can be particularly attractive to mosquitoes. Probably it depends on the species of mosquito, the exact wavelength of light you're looking at, and a variety of other factors. We have not in general found mosquitoes to be highly attracted or repellent to wavelengths in the visible spectrum. How long do mosquitoes live, and how long do they live without getting blood? Mosquitoes can live a long time when we're talking about an adult mosquito. Now, here's an interesting thing. Some mosquitoes will spend their whole winter as an adult. They'll crawl into your house or into a sewer pipe and just try to kind of hibernate there for the winter. So a mosquito that is hibernating all winter is gonna live 6 months or so. However, during the summer, most female mosquitoes probably die within a couple of weeks of when they emerge as an adult. If they have taken blood, they're gonna try to rapidly produce their eggs and lay those eggs, and then they're gonna look for the next blood meal. They are not gonna live a long time without either looking for a blood meal, turning a blood meal into eggs, or laying their eggs. In general, most female mosquitoes will mate before taking a blood meal. One of the interesting things though, even though they need the sperm to fertilize their eggs, they don't fertilize their eggs until they lay them. They actually store the sperm from the male in a special organ in their body. And as each egg is laid, they let a sperm be released to fertilize that egg. Why do some mosquito bites itch worse than others? This is actually a really complicated question. It probably has more to do with the person getting bit than the mosquito species. But I can tell you from years of experience that some species of mosquitoes make me itch way more than others. Some bites are way more painful than others. I don't actually know what causes that, but I suspect that it has to do with that mosquito saliva and the components in that mosquito saliva and your body's reaction to those components. In some cases, you may react very strongly and it's really itchy. That's an immune response. Your body is telling yourself, oh, there's something I don't like there. I'm gonna scratch it. In other cases, your body may become more tolerant of this cocktail of compounds that the mosquito is injecting when they feed on you, and it may be less itchy. Just like all responses to your body, sometimes it can get worse with time, sometimes better with time. How far can a mosquito fly? Again, it depends on the species. The ones that we find right in our backyards that sometimes are the worst pests don't like to go very far. they're going to stay within a couple hundred yards of where they were born or where they emerged from. Others fly vast distances. We find salt marsh mosquitoes, which we know come out of the salt marsh near the coast, as far as 15 miles inland. So they have gone a long way. We even have reports of mosquitoes that get up into the atmosphere and are transported very long distances, maybe even hundreds of miles.